The story opens aboard the massive space station Nexus Prime, headquarters of the Galactic Defense Council. Captain Jake Miller, a former Earth military engineer, stands with hundreds of other recruits from dozens of alien species in the vast testing chamber. The recruits come from warrior races like the four-armed Krathos, the crystalline Vextar, and the technologically advanced Kaleri. Admiral Voss, a towering reptilian Drakmor, addresses the crowd. He explains that only 1% of recruits pass the final trial, the Navigation Grid Challenge. The test involves piloting through a three-dimensional minefield that spans 50 cubic kilometers of space. The mines are invisible to most sensors and arranged in patterns that change every few minutes. Most species rely on speed, brute force, or advanced technology to attempt passage. Jake watches as the first groups fail spectacularly. The Krathos warriors charge through with heavy shields, only to trigger chain reactions that destroy their ships. The Vextar use complex calculations, but move too slowly and get caught in pattern shifts. The Kaleri deploy sophisticated scanning arrays that prove useless against the adaptive mine systems. The alien recruits begin to whisper among themselves. They notice the human, small, weak, with no apparent special abilities or advanced technology. Some laugh, others show pity. A Krathos warrior named Gore approaches Jake and suggests he quit before embarrassing himself. But Jake studies the holographic display showing failed attempts. He notices something the others miss, the seemingly random mine explosions actually follow mathematical patterns. The spacing between mines, the timing of detonations, the safe corridors that briefly appear and disappear, it all reminds him of something from his childhood on Earth. As his turn approaches, Jake requests the most basic ship available, a simple scout vessel with minimal shielding and standard engines. The alien observers shake their heads. Admiral Voss grants the request, but warns that the ship won't survive even a minor mine detonation. Jake enters his ship and studies the three-dimensional grid on his navigation screen. The mines appear as red dots when they explode, revealing temporary patterns before fading back to invisibility. He takes a deep breath and begins to see it clearly. This isn't just a minefield. It's a massive, three-dimensional version of Minesweeper, the simple computer game he played for hours during boring shifts on Earth military bases. Jake begins his approach to the minefield, ignoring the standard tactics used by other species. Instead of rushing forward or deploying sensors, he moves his scout ship to specific coordinates and deliberately triggers a single mine. The explosion reveals the positions of nearby mines through their electromagnetic signatures, just like clicking a square in Minesweeper reveals the numbers around it. The alien observers are confused by his seemingly suicidal tactic. Admiral Voss leans forward, intrigued by the human's strange behavior. Jake continues this methodical approach, using each controlled explosion to map the surrounding mine density. He discovers that touching a mine with his ship's sensor array without triggering it reveals how many active mines surround that position. The Kaleri technician monitoring the test, Dr. Rix, notices that Jake's approach generates data patterns, unlike anything they've recorded. While other recruits focus on avoiding all mines, the human seems to be communicating with the minefield itself. Each gentle sensor contact provides information, building a mental map of safe and dangerous zones. Jake's childhood memories flood back. Countless hours playing Minesweeper during power outages, developing an intuitive understanding of probability and pattern recognition. He remembers the basic rules. Numbers indicate nearby mines, empty spaces mean safety, and logical deduction can reveal mine locations without triggering them. As he progresses deeper into the three-dimensional grid, Jake begins to understand the test's true nature. The minefield isn't random. It's a puzzle designed to challenge spatial reasoning and pattern recognition. The aliens' advanced technology and warrior instincts actually work against them, making them overlook the simple mathematical relationships that govern the mind placement. The human starts moving faster, his confidence growing. He identifies clusters of mines and navigates around them, finds the rare, empty zones where no mines exist, and uses the numerical feedback from his sensor readings to predict safe corridors. His small scout ship dances through spaces that destroyed much larger, more heavily armed vessels. Other recruits watch in amazement as Jake progresses further than anyone in the past decade. The Kratha's warrior Gore stops laughing and starts studying the human's technique. The Vex Star begin rapid calculations, trying to understand his logic. Even the proud Kalori admit they cannot comprehend his method. Jake reaches the middle section of the minefield, where the patterns become more complex and the margins for error disappear completely. This is where even the most skilled pilots from advanced civilizations typically fail. The mine density increases exponentially, and the safe passages become narrow corridors barely wider than his scout ship. But Jake's Minesweeper experience prepared him for exactly this challenge. In the computer game, the hardest levels required managing complex probability calculations and making educated guesses when logical deduction wasn't enough. He applies the same principles here, using statistical analysis to identify the most likely safe routes when complete certainty is impossible. The human discovers that the minefield has corner patterns and edge effects similar to the computer game. Mines near the boundaries behave differently, creating opportunities for skilled navigators. He exploits these patterns, using the three-dimensional equivalent of Minesweeper's corner-clearing techniques to open up large safe zones. Admiral Voss contacts other senior officers, reporting that a human recruit has exceeded all previous performance records. The test was designed by the galaxy's greatest strategic minds to be virtually impossible, a way to humble new recruits and identify the rare individuals capable of thinking beyond conventional military doctrine. Jake realizes that his sensor readings follow the same numerical logic as Minesweeper. When his scanner touches a mine without triggering it, the electromagnetic feedback tells him exactly how many mines are in the surrounding three-dimensional grid spaces, above, below, and on all sides. This information allows him to deduce mine locations through pure logic, just like solving number puzzles in the game. As he progresses, Jake begins to appreciate the test's elegance. It's not really about navigation or piloting skills. It's about pattern recognition, logical thinking, and the ability to process complex spatial relationships. The aliens focus on technology, and brute force blinds them to these fundamental cognitive requirements. The human starts sharing his insights over the communication channel, explaining his technique to other recruits still waiting their turns. Some alien species lack the cognitive architecture to understand his approach, but others begin to grasp the underlying principles. A few ask him to repeat his explanations, intrigued by concepts they've never encountered. Jake enters the final section of the minefield, where the mine density reaches its maximum, and the patterns become three-dimensional puzzles of incredible complexity. This zone has never been successfully navigated in the test's 50-year history. The safe corridors are so narrow and twisted that most recruits' ships can't physically fit through them, even if they could identify the correct paths. But Jake's small scout ship, the vessel other recruits mocked, proves perfect for this challenge. Its minimal size allows navigation through passages that larger ships cannot access. The human realizes this was part of the test's design. Success requires not just pattern recognition, but also the wisdom to choose appropriate tools for the task. Drawing on advanced Minesweeper strategies, Jake employs flagging techniques, using his ship's markers to identify confirmed mine locations and create reference points for navigation. He builds a three-dimensional map in his mind, tracking safe zones and dangerous areas with the same mental processes he used to solve expert-level Minesweeper puzzles. The alien observers watch in stunned silence as Jake weaves through the impossible maze. His movements appear almost supernatural to species that rely on technology and physical prowess. The Krathus warriors whisper about human mind magic, while the Vexstar attempt to record and analyze his thought patterns. Jake discovers that the final section contains a hidden element. Certain minds are actually decoys that don't explode but provide false sensor readings. This requires him to apply metagame strategies, questioning his own data and using higher-order pattern recognition to distinguish real threats from deceptions. It's like playing Minesweeper, where some numbers might be lies. The human adapts. His approach, developing new techniques for validating information and cross-referencing multiple data sources. He realizes that the test isn't just measuring puzzle-solving ability. It's evaluating adaptability and the capacity to refine strategies when facing unexpected complications. As Jake approaches the exit zone, every alien species in the testing chamber falls silent. Admiral Voss opens communication channels to fleet commanders across the galaxy, alerting them that they're witnessing something unprecedented. Jake successfully navigates the final corridor and emerges from the minefield, becoming the first recruit in 50 years to complete the navigation grid challenge. The testing chamber erupts in chaos as alien species struggle to comprehend what they've witnessed. Many refuse to believe a human, considered among the weakest species in the galaxy, could accomplish what their greatest warriors and scientists could not. Admiral Voss immediately promotes Jake to lieutenant commander and assigns him to the Galactic Defense Council's Strategic Planning Division. The human success forces a complete re-evaluation of the testing program and recruitment standards. Several alien species demand to study human cognitive processes and educational systems. Jake explains his technique to a gathering of senior officers and military scientists. He describes Minesweeper as a simple game that teaches pattern recognition, logical deduction, and spatial reasoning, skills that apparently no other galactic civilization had developed in quite the same way. The revelation that humans casually play such complex puzzles for entertainment amazes alien observers. The story reveals that Earth's seemingly primitive computer games actually represent sophisticated training systems for cognitive skills highly valued in advanced galactic society. What humans consider casual entertainment, other species recognize as advanced mental conditioning. This realization leads to immediate changes in how the galaxy views human potential. Other human recruits who previously faced discrimination suddenly find themselves in high demand. Military academies across the galaxy request human instructors to teach pattern recognition and strategic thinking. The simple game of Minesweeper becomes a required course for officers in several alien fleets. Jake receives assignment to design new training programs that combine human cognitive techniques with alien technology and warfare doctrine. His first project involves creating three-dimensional puzzle systems that prepare pilots for complex navigation challenges. The success of these programs leads to revolutionary improvements in fleet effectiveness. The story concludes with Jake reflecting on the unexpected ways that human culture contributes to galactic civilization. While other species developed impressive technology and physical capabilities, humans mastered the art of playful learning, turning complex cognitive challenges into enjoyable games. This unique approach to mental development proves invaluable in military and scientific applications. Admiral Voss privately admits to Jake that the navigation grid challenge was designed to be impossible, intended to humble overconfident recruits and teach them the limits of conventional thinking. No one expected any recruit to actually solve it, let alone using techniques derived from a simple computer game. The final scene shows Jake training a mixed group of alien and human recruits, teaching them to think beyond their species' traditional approaches. The humans share their puzzle-solving techniques while learning alien technologies and philosophies. This cultural exchange creates a new generation of officers combining the best cognitive abilities from across the galaxy. The story ends with Jake receiving a message from Earth. His old Minesweeper high scores have been broken by a new generation of players preparing for their own galactic careers. The simple game that seemed like mere entertainment has become humanity's secret weapon for success among the stars. Themes human ingenuity and unconventional thinking, the value of seemingly simple skills in complex situations, cultural diversity. As a source of strength, challenging assumptions about intelligence and capability, the power of playful learning, and game-based skill development.